Not all coins are what they seem. Some were spent without a second thought. Yet they're worth thousands, even millions today, hidden in drawers, jars, and pockets. Are pieces of history waiting to be discovered. At Rare Coins, we uncover the real value, the truth behind the hype, and the coins collectors would do anything to own. Welcome to Rare Coins. Now let me tell you about a coin that hides a mystery and a fortune. At first glance, it looks like any other silver half dollar. But this 1918D, walking Liberty half dollar missing one small detail can transform an ordinary 50 cents into a six-figure treasure. This is the famous No AW variety, and it has captured the imagination of collectors for more than a century. Let's step back into history. The year was 1918. The world was at war. America had entered the First World War the year before, and life was changing fast. Inflation was high, soldiers were overseas, and people were tightening their belts. Yet even in those tough times, the U.S. Mint pressed forward, striking coins that symbolized hope and liberty. The walking Liberty half dollar, designed by the legendary sculptor Adolph A. Weinman, was already considered one of the most beautiful coins in American history. Lady Liberty strides forward draped in the flag, reaching for the rising sun, a symbol of freedom and a new dawn. On the reverse, a bold eagle spreads its wings, ready to take flight. Now, Weinman's initials, AW, are normally found tucked into the hemline of Liberty's gown, just above the sun. They're tiny, almost hidden, but in Denver in 1918, something unusual happened. A die was prepared where those initials didn't fully appear. Whether it was weak engraving, excessive polishing of the die, or just a slip during production, the result was shocking: a walking Liberty half dollar without Weinman's initials. To the average person in 1918, it was just 50 cents in silver. It went into circulation without notice. But for collectors, this tiny detail, the missing AW, turns the coin into an ultra-rare variety. Now let's talk numbers. The Denver Mint struck 3.8 million half dollars in 1918. That sounds like a lot, but only a small fraction show the missing initials. And over the years, most of those were lost, spent, worn smooth, or melted for bullion. That's why today, surviving No AW halves are incredibly scarce. And scarcity drives demand. Demand drives price. When these coins appear at auction, collectors take notice. Even in modest grades, they bring thousands. In extra fine condition, uncertified examples can shake the market. And when you move into higher mint state territory, the numbers jump dramatically. The rarest, sharpest examples have been known to cross into six-figure territory, life-changing. Money for a coin most people would mistake for pocket change. Think about that for a moment. A simple 50-cent piece from 1918, now worth more than a luxury car, a house, or even a retirement account. That's the power of rarity. That's the magic of supply and demand. Every year, fewer and fewer examples surface. And when they do, investors and collectors are ready to pounce. And there's another layer of fascination here: the design itself. The walking Liberty half dollar is not just a coin, it's a work of art. Its beauty alone makes it one of the most collected series in American numismatics. But when you add in a major variety like the No AW, it becomes a trophy coin, a centerpiece, the kind of treasure that instantly elevates any collection. Collectors love telling the story. Imagine showing someone your coin and saying, "See right here? The initials are missing." That little absence makes this coin worth six figures. That kind of story is priceless. So how do you find one? These coins are often tucked away in old collections, hidden in dusty albums or mixed into inherited silver stashes. Many families saved silver halves simply for their bullion value, not realizing one of them might be a six-figure rarity. That's why treasure hunters still search rolls, collections, and estate sales, hoping lightning strikes. But here's the golden rule: never clean a coin. Harsh cleaning can destroy thousands of dollars in value instantly. If you think you've found a 1918D No AW, have it authenticated and graded, because certification is the key that unlocks maximum value. Every detail matters: the strike, the luster, the grade. And every year, as more collectors chase fewer surviving coins, the values keep climbing higher. The scarcity grows. The demand intensifies. And the lucky few who hold one watch their treasures appreciate. The 1918D Walking Liberty half dollar. No AW is more than silver. It's a story of a minting mistake, of beauty, of rarity, and of fortunes hidden in plain sight. So remember, next time you see a walking Liberty half-dollar, don't just glance at Lady Liberty. Look closely. Check the hemline. If the initials AW are missing, you may be staring at a treasure worth 6 figures. This isn't just a coin. It's a miracle of survival, a piece of history, and maybe your chance at life-changing wealth. Find your treasure. Now let's step back into the year 1946. The war was over. Soldiers were coming home. America was entering a new era of prosperity and rebuilding. And while much of the world was still scarred from conflict, the United States Mint was quietly producing coins that carried with them a symbol of hope. Lady Liberty herself, walking boldly toward the rising sun, the Walking Liberty half-dollar, designed by Adolph A. Weinman, had already become legendary. Struck from 1916 through 1947, it wasn't just a coin, it was art in silver. Draped in the American flag, Liberty strides forward with olive branches in her arm, the very picture of peace and freedom. On the reverse, a proud eagle rises, wings outstretched, ready to take flight. In 1946, this design carried even deeper meaning. After 4 long years of global war, Americans looked to Lady Liberty as a symbol of hope, recovery, and progress. Each 50-cent piece wasn't just money. It was a reminder that brighter days lay ahead. But while millions of 1946 Walking Liberty halves were minted, survival is another story. The Philadelphia Mint struck just under 13 million pieces, Denver just over 2 million, and San Francisco about 3.7 million. On paper, those numbers sound large. But think of what happened in the decades after. These coins were silver, 90% silver to be exact. And as the silver price climbed in later decades, countless coins were melted down. Others were spent, circulated heavily, worn smooth until Liberty's figure disappeared. The result? True high-grade survivors are rare, and in numismatics, rarity plus demand equals value. Now here's where the story gets exciting. For the average worn 1946 half, the value might just track silver bullion. But find one in mint state, lustrous, untouched, beautifully struck, and the price leaps. Collectors know how hard it is to locate sharply struck 1946 halves, especially from Denver, where weak strikes were common. But the real treasures? They're the coins that survived the decades without a single scratch. With booming luster, often locked away in original rolls or forgotten hoards. When certified at the highest grades, these pieces command enormous premiums. 6 figures is not a dream. It's a reality for the finest known. And there's more. Variety collectors seek out doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and other subtle anomalies that make ordinary coins extraordinary. Even the tiniest minting quirks can multiply value tenfold. Every year, fewer top-grade survivors appear. Collectors tuck them away, investors snap them up, and supply shrinks. The law of economics takes over. As scarcity increases, so does price. And with the Walking Liberty design, considered one of the greatest in U.S. coinage history, demand will never fade. Imagine holding one in your hand. A coin struck in 1946, fresh from the end of a world war, carrying the scars and triumphs of history. It jingled in the pockets of returning soldiers, bought groceries for post-war families, and now, nearly 80 years later, it can be worth more than a house, more than a car, more than some people's lifetime savings. That's the magic of the 1946 Walking Liberty half-dollar. From pocket change to 6 figures, from silver bullion to irreplaceable treasure. So remember, the next time you see a Walking Liberty half, don't dismiss it as just another old silver coin. Look closely. Check the strike, the luster, the details. You could be staring at a survivor, a 6-figure rarity hiding in plain sight. This isn't just silver. It's history. It's art. And maybe it's your treasure waiting to be found. Find your treasure. Picture America in 1936. The country was still recovering from the Great Depression. Bread lines had shortened, but the scars of poverty lingered. Franklin D. Roosevelt was president. The New Deal was reshaping the economy, and the nation was slowly finding hope again. Amid this backdrop, the U.S. Mint struck a coin that carried more than just 50 cents of value. It carried a symbol of resilience, freedom, and the promise of better days. The 1936 Walking Liberty half-dollar. Designed by Adolph A. Weinman, the coin's beauty is unmatched. On the obverse, Lady Liberty strides forward, draped in the American flag, carrying olive branches, reaching toward the rising sun. On the reverse, a majestic eagle rises with powerful wings, perched on a rocky cliff, the symbol of American strength. This wasn't just coinage, it was art struck in 90% silver. Now here's where things get interesting. 1936 was the first year since 1930 that half-dollar production surged, thanks to an improving economy. Philadelphia struck over 12 million coins, Denver just under 5 million, and San Francisco around 3.9 million. On the surface, those sound like big numbers. But in coin collecting, raw mintage doesn't tell the whole story. These coins circulated heavily. They passed through the hands of struggling families, bought groceries, paid bills, and kept households afloat in an uncertain time. By the 1960s, when silver prices began to rise, millions of them were melted down. And the result today? True high-grade survivors are scarce. Now let's talk value, and here's where your jaw might drop. A typical worn 1936 half-dollar may only be worth its silver content, but find one in mint state, with sharp details and glowing luster, and the price jumps dramatically. Collectors crave coins that survived untouched because so few exist. And at the very top, the finest, certified examples, this half-dollar, can bring six-figure prices at auction. That's right. A coin once worth 50 cents can sell for over $100,000 today. Why? Supply and demand. Every year, fewer top-grade examples appear on the market. Collectors and investors lock them away. Scarcity grows. And when scarcity grows, so does value. But there's more. The 1936 Walking Liberty. Half is particularly notorious for weak strikes. Most show flat details on Liberty's hand and the eagle's breast. So when a sharply struck, beautifully preserved San Francisco piece does appear, it becomes a trophy coin, a prize that collectors will pay staggering sums to own. Think about this. A coin minted during the Great Depression, at a time when families struggled just to put food on the table, now commands life-changing wealth. From the pockets of the poor to the vaults of the wealthy, the journey of the 1936 half-dollar is nothing short of extraordinary. And it's not just about money. The Walking Liberty design is iconic. It was so beloved that it was revived decades later on the American Silver Eagle bullion coins, still struck today. That connection means demand will never fade. Investors, collectors, and even the general public recognize its beauty and its importance. Every year supply shrinks. Every year demand rises. And every year, the 1936 Walking Liberty half climbs higher on the ladder of value. So imagine, someday you open an old coin jar, or inherit a collection from a relative, and there it is. A shining 1936 Walking Liberty half-dollar. What looks like an ordinary piece of silver could in fact be a six-figure treasure. This isn't just a half-dollar. It's history in your hand. It's the struggle of the Depression, the recovery of America, and the artistry of one of the greatest coin designs ever struck. So remember this. Coins like the 1936 Walking Liberty half-dollar are more than collectibles. They are treasures, scarce, beautiful, and capable of changing your life forever. Find your treasure. Some coins are rare, some are valuable. And then there are coins that change lives. The 1921 Walking Liberty half-dollar is one of those coins. Let's go back over a century ago. The world had just survived the First World War. The Spanish flu had killed millions. America was in the middle of a painful economic adjustment. Factories slowed, unemployment rose, and people had little money to spare. The mint, too, felt the strain. And in 1921, production of half-dollars came to a crawl. That year, across all three mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, only about 1.2 million half-dollars were struck. To put that into perspective, some years saw 10, 20, even 30 million coins roll off the presses. In 1921, barely a drop in the ocean. That tiny mintage instantly made it one of the rarest Walking Liberty halves ever created, and what happened next sealed its destiny. These coins circulated hard. People spent them during tough times. Many were worn down. Others were melted when silver prices rose. And so today, survivors in high condition are painfully scarce. Collectors know this. Investors know this. And they're willing to pay astonishing sums for just one. Let's talk numbers. A heavily circulated 1921 half-dollar might bring a few $100s. But a mint state example? The price rockets into the six figures. At major auctions, pristine gems have brought over $200. Sourcing, think about that, a coin worth 50 cents when minted, now commanding more than a luxury home. Why? It all comes down to supply and demand. Every year, demand for these coins grows. More collectors enter the market. More investors chase tangible assets like silver. And every year, supply shrinks because the few survivors are locked away in private collections, never to be seen again. Scarcity drives value, and 1921 is the definition of scarcity. The San Francisco issue, the 1921S, is particularly notorious. It's known for weak strikes, with details on Liberty's hand and the eagle's feathers often flat. A sharp, well-struck 1921S is a once-in-a-lifetime find, and when it surfaces, bidding wars erupt. The Denver issue, the 1921D, is also brutally rare, with tiny mintage and similar challenges. And even the Philadelphia coin with the highest numbers is still considered a key date, a must-have for any serious collection. But beyond the numbers, this coin carries meaning. Adolph A. Weinman's Walking Liberty. Design is considered one of the most beautiful in American history. Lady Liberty striding toward the dawn, draped in the flag, olive branches in hand, symbolizing hope for a new day. The eagle, bold and determined, representing American strength. In 1921, at a time when hope was in short supply, this coin wasn't just money, it was a message. Today it's a treasure, a symbol of survival, a relic of hardship turned into opportunity. And if you're lucky enough to find one, it could change your life forever. Imagine digging through an inherited coin box, or spotting an old silver half at a flea market and realizing it's a 1921, what looks like just another silver coin could in fact be a six-figure fortune. And here's the truth. Every year, fewer of these coins remain available. Every year, demand grows stronger. Collectors and investors battle over them, driving prices higher and higher. That is why the 1921 Walking Liberty half dollar has become legendary. So if you're hunting treasure, this is one coin you must remember. Because the 1921 Walking Liberty half isn't just rare. It isn't just valuable. It's one of the most important coins in American history. Born in struggle, admired for beauty and prized for its incredible scarcity. One coin, 50 cents in 1921, $100,000 or more today. That is the magic of numismatics. That is the power of the 1921 Walking Liberty half dollar. Find your treasure,